Welcome to the Human Nature Channel. I'm your host, Alex Tamsula, and what am I doing here? Well, it's Tuesday night once again here in my dad's farm garage, which I consider to be my thinkorium. Thinkorium, yeah, I like that word. Because when I come up here, I do a lot of thinking. Like, how am I going to stretch out my dwindling supply of brandy? Still haven't been able to get on the state store website yet. Keeps telling me try tomorrow. Oh, this is going to be tough. Anyway, why don't we jump right into some Las Vegas Shooting Truth Community Act, because that's what you're here for. Okay, I'm going to beat a dead horse. Hopefully this will be the last time. The only reason I'm bringing this up again is because I have a fresh angle on it. It is the child pornography on Stephen Paddock's laptop in his room in 32135. To review, the very presence of that stuff means Stephen Paddock was a criminal. It doesn't matter whether he had or had not been nabbed by law enforcement. The man's a criminal. And it got me thinking. I knew a guy who went to the federal penitentiary, ended up there, because he had child pornography on his computer. Actually, all he had was one photo, which he had gotten from a tenant in one of his rental properties. And the picture was of an 11-year-old girl having sex with an older man, and the girl was the tenant's daughter. Okay? Now, this guy I knew, I'd known him for like 30 years. Okay? He had a secret life, and he hid it very, very well. I can remember years ago stuff like, going bar hopping with him and other people, and he'd disappear for 20, 30 minutes at a time, and I'm like, and he'd come back, and I said, "Where'd you go?" He said, "Oh, I just went out for a walk, get some fresh air." No, he was out there somewhere exposing himself. The guy was a weenie wagger. Now it all makes a sort of sense. But the point I'm making with this guy is that it went back in time. I mean, there was evidence that something was not right with this guy, something of a sexual criminal going all the way back. And that part of what ended up happening was about 6 months before the roof fell in on his head, I was getting like this really bad feeling. I didn't like what the scene looked like, and I parted company with him. 6 months later, I'm watching TV, it's Saturday morning, and his name comes up. He'd been arrested. And not only that, the tenant whose child was being sexually exploited was arrested too. Later, I would find out that this one picture somehow ended up in the database of a child pornography ring in Dallas, Texas. And somehow the feds traced it back to my friend's computer. And it's actually a long, involved, kind of crazy story. I even got letters from this guy when he was in the county jail. Oh my God. But getting back to Paddock, how far back into this life does it go, this proclivity toward child porn? Was it something that he just developed within the last 3 or 4 years of his life, or did it go back farther? Did it involve other things like it did with my ex-friend? Yeah, but there's also a second dimension to this too. In that period, right up before I said no, because you got to understand, he was renting to these people a cottage that was actually behind his house. So that tenant and her 2 little girls, I had seen. By this point, the girl who was in the picture was now 14. So this picture is actually 3 years old. Things just started getting like way too weird. And there was almost this claustrophobic like feeling. Now, the way I'm looking at it, if the FBI finally descends on my ex-pal. They were watching him for a while, okay? And this is a feeling I had, and I had no way to prove that, like, I'd been tailgated one time on the way to his place. I had a bogus traffic stop one time. Looking back, I'm wondering, am I getting played with? Was I on somebody's radar, is the point. If he's under surveillance and I'm coming and going, well, they'd see me too. So he's my friend and Paddock. They're messing with this stuff. And at least in the case of my friend, I have a feeling that he was already under surveillance. I mean, he just, you do stupid stuff like this, you're going to end up under surveillance. Came out of nowhere, came out of the blue. Paddock, that's the point about how far back does his interest in child porn go. Because the further back it goes, there's always the chance other people had him under surveillance from a certain point on. So, that's that, and I hope I have nothing to say on the subject ever again. So, okay, let's move on to the next thing, which, hey, what have I been doing while being, obeying the stay-at-home suggestion? Well, my silent partner did something interesting. He said, hey, you ever read Fountainhead by Ayn Rand? I said, no, I've never read it. And actually, he and I have seen the movie. There is a 1949 version of this story, The Fountainhead, with Gary Cooper and Patricia Neal. We watched it one night. I found it utterly hilarious. I mean, it's so overheated and sweaty. And Gary Cooper and Patricia Neal were an item in real life. So you actually can kind of believe all of the heat. And that is what this novel is. It's a big, kind of twisted. The novel is much more twisted than the movie. But it's a big romance novel. And as you can see, I'm, heading toward the end. Now, because my silent partner and I have seen the movie, I'm thinking, I can do a read the movie, see the book sort of presentation where I'll finish the book. And honestly, I have some things to say about Ayn Rand as a writer, as a storyteller. I'm not going to deal with her philosophy. Whenever her name comes up, immediately people are polarized into different camps. She is a classic polarizing figure. There's those over there that love her, those over there that hate her. But keep in mind, her name stays out there. She endures. There's a United States Senator whose first name would be different if it wasn't for Ayn Rand. I'll kind of talk about if she gets a fair shake as a writer. I don't think she does. I think she's actually a lot better than she gets credit for. But like I said, that's how I'm going to approach it. I'm enjoying this as a piece of entertainment. It's got a lot of wacky stuff about it, and, well, this will be coming up soon. Anyway, there's always something interesting here in my dad's garage. What can I show you tonight? The drop saw. It cuts masonry. It isn't pretty, but it gets the job done. Well, I think I have everything I need. I've got a ski mask with a fuzzy little ball on the top. This thing's been lying around here for decades. Put it on? Huh? Yeah? Okay. Oh, this thing is totally useless against the virus that causes COVID-19. My nose is sticking out. See my lips move. What's that, Irv? Stay away from you. Your mask protects me from you, buddy. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we have a tree saw. Yeah, with a wooden handle. It's been wrapped in electrician's tape for a good grip. Nice, huh? You know, I just love stuff like this. What we have here is advertising for the Heilman Pavement Specialist Premium Highway Materials, Heiway. It's a screwdriver. And it's got a clip, but it's not for your shirt pocket because it might punch a hole through the bottom. No. This is for your pocket protector. Yeah. Now, I have another one of these tools. I don't know what it does. It's like that metal handled tool I showed you many videos ago that had the serrated wheels on one end. I found out what that was. That's called a grinding wheel dresser. And what it's meant for is making sure the edge of the grinding wheel is nice and flat because it tends to curve over time. So you want somebody to come in and flatten it out. This, I'm going to hold it up really close. It's obviously some kind of measuring device. There's 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch. I just don't know what it does. Well, it obviously measures something, but what? I don't know. Okay, I came across this, and at first I thought it was an awl. And then I says, nah, it's a little big for an awl. What this is a hole punch. Got this wooden handle that's flattened on either side. It's got a metal plate on the top for hitting it with a hammer. If I had a hammer, I'd show you. Alright, if I were going to do a horror movie with a guy in a ski mask, I wouldn't use a butcher knife or running around with a hatchet. No, I'd go after him with the thin saw. You got some maniac chasing the teeny boppers all through the abandoned mansion, and they're screaming, "He's coming with the thin saw! Ah! Pulling your pinky fingers and your toes. Ah! Here he comes with the thin saw. Ah!" It's a horror movie, all right? Actually, yes, it is a horror movie. Okay, so I'm going through the drawers, right? Looking for something so I can show you. And I just happened to see lying sideways this fluted glass. It's kind of grimy, but it's got etchings in it. I says, oh, this is quite interesting. And then instantly I noticed something very strange about it. There happens to be a spider at the bottom. I hope you can see that. I'm going to move it around so you can. There's a spider at the bottom. I'm even going to light it up so you can really see the spider at the bottom. Yeah, that's some freaky shit. And, you know, I'm pretty sure he's dead. I mean, he doesn't seem to mind when I do this. Honestly, he's awfully well preserved. I mean, for a brief moment in time, I'm like, are you alive? No. He's a well-preserved spider. Anyway, Irv, you get to follow the spider. What's that, Irv? Am I going to tell them what's coming next? Well, as a matter of fact, Irv, I am. Tomorrow, when it's daylight, I'm going to be outside with the camera, and Dad will do kind of a presentation for you. You know, I got up here at about 4:30 in the afternoon, and after I got all settled in, we're drinking coffee, and he's like, you know, I have an idea for what we can do tomorrow and you can put it on video. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Because all I have to do is point the camera at Dad, and then when I take all that video home and edit it, make the star look good. What do you think, Irv? Irv says sounds like a plan. Okay, buddy, time for your close-up. Now, what we have here is a smokehouse that was built in the 1940s. Okay, Dad, what are you doing to it?
Well, I'm going to try to renovate it. It's pretty well shot, but I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I mean, you got that.
It's like an old relic.
Yeah, it is an old relic. You got that chain going around it.
What's that?
You have a chain going around it. A chain.
No, it's the chain going around is to hold it together.
Uh-huh.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll give it a try.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this smokehouse has been here since we've moved here. We've used it a lot. We've smoked ham in it.
A lot. I've smoked an awful lot of meats in it.
Yeah.
Even smoked a whole pig one time.
There you go.
All right.
All right, so let's go.
Indoors.
Yeah, let's go indoors.
What's the easier way to smoke?
Ah. Alrighty. Okay. So here we are in front of the smoker. What's going on?
This is the easier way to smoke. It's more modern. You don't have to chop wood. You just put your meat in and plug it in. And here we go.
Oh yeah.
Ready to eat.
Smoke kibasi.
Smoke kielbasa.
Very
You can
nice.
smoke anything you want to smoke. There's some things you can't smoke.
Yeah. Should I show them the hard-boiled eggs? Yeah, you can't smoke hard-boiled eggs. We've tried that.
Smoke a hard-boiled egg. You don't have to chop wood. This is what you smoke with. They call them briquettes. It's like a sawdust. That's my favorite is apple wood. I've tried all different brands of woods, but apple wood's the best.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not bitter. All right, I'll see you next week.
Okay, Dad, thanks a lot.